Yo guys, how's it going? And welcome back to the channel. And today is part number 18 for my team career mode here on F1 22. Now I actually made a bit of a mistake yesterday. I actually recorded part 19 thinking that was the first part in a long time, but it actually turns out it was this episode. So do apologise for the lengthy break, and we are now going to be carrying on this series and finishing it before Christmas coming around. And I want to do I kind of want to start doing some more series. So yeah, we're coming to the end of this one now, and as you can see here, going through the practice programs. And well, obviously you'll hear me say in the next episode, but also in this episode I need to mention that I am recording on my new Blue Yeti microphone as well, so that's why I might sound a little bit different coming into this episode. But yeah, here we are once again then with the Japanese Grand Prix here for round number 18. And like I said, just going through the practice programs here. I am going to be doing a quick practice until the end of the series now, because well, we don't really care too much for practice now. It kind of gets to a point where we don't really need to worry about the practice sessions too much. So there we go, we've just chucked in a fresh component units as well, so let's go to qualifying. Okay, so here we are then, ready for qualifying, and we are finally back on this series then. So let's see if I've rushed, well, still trash at this game, and still losing my head like I normally do, which I don't know, when I record I just feel like I'm under pressure most of the time. But here we are for our first lap anyway. The S's are always such a bad corner for me. I always seem to lose the rear end through those corners, and yeah, it never ends up being a fun time through there. So that's why I was taking it very easy on this first lap, as always, just getting my eye in, especially now we're not doing any practice. This is sort of our practice basically, these qualifying program, or this qualifying run. So up to the line, we actually go ahead of Alexander Albon there, which I was not expecting. A 135.5. Our second run, we are, as you can see, just over 4 tenths up to the line, and we improve by another 4 tenths to 131.111. so puts us ahead of Zhou and Albon for the time being. Nothing too spectacular for the time being. Dan's actually gone up into the top 10 and just been demoted as someone else has just gone into the top 10. But yeah, got a few tenths off at the moment, and we've definitely got more pace to find, so we're going to jump straight back into another lap. So on go a new fresh set of softs, and I think this is our third run of the session. So coming now down to the hairpin, we are just under on this lap at the moment, and didn't get as good of an exit there as I would have liked, and we are literally level on what we've done previously, so not finding much improvement at the moment. And I think it was the final chicane that I was also struggling through, as we take out the little bollard there, and that's gained us a tenth or two as we now exit the final corner up to the line. DRS open, and we improve by another tenth, and that's P17, so we are on the cusp at the moment of the drop zone, and we have actually set the fastest, well, we've got the purple last sector, which is very, very highly surprising, which is, well, a nice surprise nonetheless. But yeah, I don't know how we've managed to do that, but nonetheless we are absolutely flying in this qualifying session. Hopefully we can find a few more tenths to bring us forward out of the drop zone. But as you can see, at the end of our final run, we are 3 tenths down at the moment, and we are not going to improve, unfortunately, round the final corner, and we just don't unfortunately improve, about 2.5 tenths down, and P18 for qualifying. So a little bit disappointing in the end, but the pace wasn't too bad, and Dan has sneaked through into Q2, and he has actually got a 5-second time penalty, which I wanted to know what that was for, and apparently he made a collision with Sebastian Vettel. So oh dear, Dan, he made it through to Q2, but all that hard work is probably going to be undone, because he'll probably start down in 21st, because yeah, we're not that great in qualifying. We're definitely better in the Grand Prix, and yeah, we have basically just got to see what we can do. So yeah, a bit of a shame there for Dan, but like I said, hopefully the race pace will be good. And now we're taking a look at some more upgrades that we can do towards the end of this season. I'm putting on another powertrain upgrade as well. But now we are ready for the Grand Prix. Let's go.
Welcome along then to the magnificent Suzuka International Circuit, a stone's throw away from Issa Bay and the beautiful Japanese countryside. What surprises lie in wait for us today at the Japanese Grand Prix? A lap of this historic racetrack covers 3.6 miles. It's the only time during the season that we race on a figure-of-8 circuit. And the drivers can expect some intense G-forces through the 18 corners on offer here as they experience some of the highest average apex speeds on the Formula One calendar. Keep an eye out for overtakes into the final chicane. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Perez, Sainz, Charles Leclerc and Hamilton, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Ocon and Kevin Magnussen, Gasly, Bottas, Lance Stroll and Vettel, James, Ricciardo, Nicholas Latifi and Daniel Ticktum. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Tsunoda, Mick Schumacher, they've taken a grid penalty. Joe and Alex Albon picks up the last spot on the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. A warm welcome to Anthony Davidson, who's beside me in the commentary box today. Let's start by getting your take on Daniel Ricciardo. As ever, the threat of unreliability is never far away, and indeed they'll be starting out of position today due to power unit component changes. It's going to be a difficult task to move forward from there.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
So here we go then for the Japanese Grand Prix, and just looking at strategy once again, seeing what our alternative options are. And I do believe I was going to start on the soft tyre, and just looking at the race director here just to see what everyone else is doing. There was a couple of people in the top 10 on mediums, but everyone else is more or less on the soft tyres. So here we are then for the formation lap, and we are ready to go for the Japanese Grand Prix. Such a great circuit, and can't wait to get this one underway as we build to 5 red lights. It's lights out and away we go, and it's a pretty even start from all of us, Vettel and Latifi around us, as we are now going to the inside trying to find a way past Vettel. We leave the door open though, we sneak in on the double apex of turn 1 and we push Vettel right off the circuit there. Well, not right off, but we kind of closed the door there, and Latifi has also got past him as well, so that was very aggressive into turn 1, and now all eyes are ahead on this pack up ahead. Lance Stroll is going to be the man who is up next for us, and like I said, really taking it cautious through the S section because I just always lose the rear end there, and now that's allowed Latifi to get quite close to me as we come through Diagonal 1 and 2 from this beautiful Japanese circuit. So not a bad start so far. Made up his position, and now into the hairpin. Stroll on the inside of Bottas. Bottas gets a little bit squirmy on the exit, and they now go side by side, and Stroll has to tuck in behind Bottas once again, but now on the same lap, 1:30 goes for a little move, and that's cost him a lot of time. It made him vulnerable to us. He now defends on the inside. We go for the move into the final chicane, and we've trying to keep it clean as much as possible. Stroll cuts the corner, and that makes his line super tight, and we managed to get past him up into P13 then. So a really good move there. As you can see, Stroll, well, he sort of darted out of the inside line, and that's what allowed me to come up the inside. And yeah, he just kind of, I don't know what he was doing into that final corner really, but nonetheless we have managed to negotiate him, and now he's under pressure from the Williams and also the McLaren behind him as well. So lots of squabbling going on these opening stages, and there's Vettel trying to go around the outside, Stroll trying to go around the outside of the Williams, but the Williams manages to get him. So yeah, lots going on these opening laps here at the Japanese Grand Prix. Now we're coming to the end of lap 2, on to lap 3. DRS now enabled, then we are actually gaining on Bottas here as he is stuck behind this little pack up ahead of us. So once DRS comes into play, hopefully we can move forward in this Grand Prix, as we've been saving our energy as well, which is very crucial. We're still not at a stage where we can burn lots of it, and as you can see here at the start of lap 4, we are right behind Bottas now. Unfortunately, it was a little bit too far back on that occasion, as we just lose so much time in the first and sort of the start of the second sector. So yeah, a bit frustrating as we are super quick down the straights, but yeah, we're just losing so much time in the first sector. Now lap 5, the pit window is open, so we'll be stopping very, very soon, as we're still keeping with this train. The pace is good for the time being as we come into the pits quite early, actually, it has to be said. Lap 5 is normally lap 6 or 7, as we nearly look up into the wall there coming into the pits. Luckily managed to get it stopped in time. So yeah, the guys ahead of us there have already pitted, so Mercedes in as we now come in for our stop as well. Hopefully it's a nice clean one, and it is not too bad at all, as we now exit onto the medium tyre. And I do believe we are not going to be racing anyone out of the pits because no one is around us, so we rejoin the track all by ourselves in P21, but obviously still loads of cars ahead of us to pit. So yep, as we can now see the end of lap 6 onto lap 7, some of the other drivers are into the pits, and now we are very close to Stroll here. I didn't realise it was going to be this close round the outside through turn 1, and we've managed to get Stroll there. That was a little bit close for comfort as we come swooping around the outside here into turn 1. So that was well, yeah, a lot well, any closer and I think he would have been ahead of us. So, and then yeah, managed to stay ahead of him there. So onto the next car ahead, which is still Bottas, and yeah, a few more people now into the pits, and that's promoted us up back into P13 then, so ahead of Vettel, Latifi and all those guys. So yeah, we're not in a bad position at the moment. We've lost quite a bit of time to Bottas after all the squabbling and just the catching up that we've kind of had to do, really. Bottas 3.5 seconds down the road as George Russell sets the fastest lap of the race. And yeah, we are kind of in no man's land. As soon as the pit stops come in, I always feel like I find myself in this sort of no man's land area. So I just nearly lose the rear end there as well through the S section. That's what I mean. I felt like I couldn't push the car at all throughout the whole entire weekend, and look at that, that's put Vettel right on the back of us. And well, as if we weren't under pressure from him before, we are definitely going to be under pressure from him now, because we keep making mistakes, and that's not helped my confidence, that mistake through the S section. So fingers crossed we can hold on to this position, because we've had a really good race and the pace hasn't been too bad. But now it always seems to be on the medium tyre as well. Every time I get onto the mediums, I just feel like the pace goes out the window, and I don't know if it's a temperature thing or what, but once again Vettel really close to me here as we exit. The S is into Degner 1 once again. He's just a little bit too far back, and like I said, he's not really able to make a challenge through the straights either, because obviously there's only one DRS zone on this track as well, but we're so quick down the straights that he's not able to catch us. But here we are, we're at the end of the Grand Prix. We're still holding on to P13 at the moment. Vettel not able to challenge us, and unfortunately we still couldn't get Bottas up ahead. Now he's 7.5 seconds up the road, so yeah, we definitely struggle for pace. But P13 at the Japanese Grand Prix, not a bad result at all.
And that's the end of the race. See you in Parc Fermé. So Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was. So, Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
So there we go, not a bad result at all, really. I mean, considering the pace wasn't great at the second phase, sorry, it wasn't too bad. P13 and ahead of some very, very good competitors, so really good result. And Dan, unfortunately only P19 for him, so didn't make too much progress in the race either. But nevertheless, we still keep P16 in the Drivers' Championship. That's sort of my focus, and obviously if we can get lucky again with some more points, that would be really, really good. And there's a massive battle between Ferrari and Mercedes at the moment for second in the Constructors as well, so that's going to be good to see. As there we go, we gained some more team acclaim as well, in both getting our sponsor bonuses as well, which is always good. And now we're back at the headquarters once again. So yeah, I think the car is definitely at a stage now where we're consistently able to fight in that midfield properly. So that's really, really good to see. And obviously the car is only going to get better towards the end of the season, as we've still got a few more upgrades to go on. And as I say that, the aerodynamic upgrade has just failed on us, so that's super frustrating for us there, as we're going to have to redo that for the Mexican Grand Prix. So at least that will come on the car in time. And once again here, looking at the driver perks, as we put another power mapping engine wear upgrade for our car as well, so that's going to help us out. And now we're picking a new rival. And once again, not really a difficult decision. Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri is going to be our new rival, which again I think I've still struggled to beat. And then this is the R&D at the moment. As you can see, we are very, very close between Williams, Aston Martin and AlphaTauri, and the Alfa Romeo and Haas are just up the road as well. So it's going to be very tight towards the end of this season, that's for sure. So there we go, guys. That is going to be it for this Grand Prix. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, please do give it a thumbs up, and as always, I will see you all again in the next one, guys. Take care.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind.